welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. My name is Liz. If this is the first time you stop by, and for the rest of you guys, welcome back. Oh, at the 25,000 mark, woohoo! Thank you guys so much. Again, could not do any of that without all your support and your kindness, and I do truly, truly appreciate it. So today, I am going to show you how to make an infused Canna honey. Yeah, that's right. It can infused honey. And then we're going to take that honey and make honey garlic chicken wings. Whoops. That's right. One little sucker's almost got away. Yep, honey garlic chicken wings. All right. So, of course, as always, I'm going to get into those ingredients, what we need, and we're going to get this stuff made. All right, so for our infused honey, what you're going to need is, I'm using a half a cup of honey. So again, it's going to be however how much you want to do, half a cup, a cup. If you use a lot of it, go for a cup. If you don't use it that often, then stick to a quarter cup, half a cup. You're going to want about a tablespoon of your coconut oil. Now, little something here. If you are using the coconut oil, the solid one, the one that solidifies like that, then you actually want to use a creamed honey, would work better. However, I don't have that on hand, so I just had the regular honey. If you are using a liquid oil, like an MCT oil or olive oil, basically any type of oil like that, if it's a liquid oil, then you'll want to go with the liquid type of honey. So basically, cream, cream, liquid, liquid. Easy way to remember. And then I'm using about 3.5 grams of my decarbed herb. And for those who don't know what but decarbing is, to activate your THCA to THC. You do that by putting it into a glass. You can use a glass mason jar like I have, or an oven-safe glass baking dish. Cover that with tin foil. Preheat your oven to 240 degrees. Put that in for approximately 40 minutes. After that, take it out, let it completely cool before you're going to do anything else with it. And that's how to decarb your herb. So that's all we need for our honey. Then for our chicken wings, what you're going to need is, well, the amount of chicken wings that you want to use. So I have about 10 here that are split, so 5 full ones or 10 split. And you're going to want, or you can use, black pepper, onion powder, some rosemary leaves. Rosemary leaves. That's what it says. Duh. And thyme leaves. They give it a really nice flavor, but you want to use just very, very little of it. And kosher salt or sea salt is best. It's really nice getting those pops of salt flavor because they're in that crystal form. But regular salt will work too if you don't have that. No big deal. And some garlic powder and olive oil. So that's what we're going to do to make up our base seasoning for our chicken wings. This makes them taste really, really good. So for those who don't want honey garlic on your wings, these are going to taste awesome just on their own. All right, so let's jump into our equipment and then let's get some stuff made. All right, so the equipment that we're going to need for the honey infusion is French press, or you can use a mason jar with the lid. That'll work perfectly fine. A small saucepan that we're going to use to heat up the honey in our shortening first. You're going to want a larger pot that is going to fit your the container that you're using, but you want to make sure that the water can come up high enough to come above your honey line. You always want to make sure that it's covered by water. That will control our temperature so that nothing burns. So that's the only thing, make sure your pot is deep enough. Now, hand blender. And an ingredient that I forgot, which I'm not sure, we may or may not need it, is soy or sunflower lecithin to emulsify. I am hoping we're going to be able to accomplish that with the hand blender. However, we may need it. If we do end up if it is a necessity ingredient, I will put it in the list of ingredients. Otherwise, I'll just list it as optional. But other than that, that's what we need for the honey. Spatula and a small whisk or a whisk. And then just for our chicken, you just need a oven baking dish or a cookie sheet will work. You can line it with parchment paper or use non-stick oven spray. My words today. Where are my words? All right, so that's all the equipment we basically need. As usual, you know I always forget something. So the first thing I'm going to start is the honey infusion, because that's going to take a couple of hours. Then I'm going to set up the wings, because I'm going to do a first cook on those with all our spices. Then when our honey's ready, we're going to do a second cook on them and apply the honey garlic sauce. All right, so let's get in. Let's make our honey and some chicken wings. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my honey to my pot, my little saucepan here. Ooh, get in, get in. And we are adding our shortening. Now the reason that you're adding shortening, or you need to add some type of fat, is THC is not water soluble. It is oil soluble. As we know, honey has no fat in it at all. So for those who are doing infusions with just honey and heat, what you may be getting is some of the loose crystals that come off and just staying there. But you're not getting a true infusion because there's nothing to dissolve that THC away from the plant itself. So that's why you have to incorporate some type of fat. But as I said, coconut oil, olive oil, any type of oil is going to do, but you need some in there in order for it to dissolve and extract the THC into your honey. Otherwise, really, if you don't use it, all you've got is chlorophylled honey with a little bit of crystals. All right, so I'm going to put those two in, and I'm going to heat them up on low till it's all melted together. And you want to make sure to do it on low because you don't want to burn anything. Both your honey and your coconut oil, if you're using that, melt at a very low heat. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring my larger pot to a boil and then turn it down. So once your honey and your coconut oil, stop yelling at me. Once your honey and your coconut oil have melted, by the looks of it, yeah, oil staying separate, so we're likely going to end up using an emulsifier. But as I said, I'm kind of hoping the hand blender will take care of it. Well, we'll see. Anyway, once it's melted, you're going to take your jar or your French press. We're going to pour this into here, and then I'm going to add my decarbed plant material. And you want to break it up. I love that smell. Oh. It's my favorite smell. Anyone who does this, doesn't it hurt a little bit when you pour it into something? You know there's going to be an awesome end product, but it does hurt just a little when you just pour it in. You're like, oh. But you know, ooh, sweetness at the end. So I'm just going to mix that in there. So again, I've got a calculator. I'm going to put a calculator there in the description for you, so you can calculate how strong you want to make your honey infusion. So once I get all that mixed in, if you're using your French press, throw the lid on it. You want to keep it the strainer piece just above your honey and your oil, and then you're going to place it into your water. And the most important thing is to make sure your water line is above the honey, because otherwise your honey and the oil will continue to increase in heat and it will burn your herbs. So very important that the water always maintains above the honey line. And you're going to leave that simmer on medium low for about 2 hours. And you also want to make sure to, every about 10 minutes or so, go through and use a whisk or your spatula to stir it around. So while our honey is simmering there, I'm going to do up the chicken wings. So I do them in 2 stages. I do a bake. We bake them about 3/4 of the way through, and then I let those cool completely, and then we deep fry them. So you can use a deep fryer, or I just make a makeshift one with a pot and just a strainer in it, or you can just use a frying pan with some oil in it. That'll work too. And this way they turn out super nice and crispy, and they're really awesome. So what we are going to do, is we're going to take about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. About 1.5. See, with cooking, there's no real exact measurements. Well, there is if you have a cookbook. But with cooking, it's very much to flavor and what you like. So that's why it's kind of like in and about. So it's more watch what I do. All right, so I am going to add in a little bit of thyme leaves. Thyme leaves you want to use about maybe no more than 1/4 of a teaspoon. It is a very strong spice. So if you use too much of it, you're really going to notice it and it doesn't taste very nice. And the same thing with your rosemary, just about 1/4 of a teaspoon or so of rosemary. And onion, some onion powder. You can use a nice, about a tablespoon or so of onion powder. Spatula overboard. And we're going to use, I'd say, about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Again, you can use a little more, a little less to taste. And about 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now, when you're using like the kosher salt or the sea salt, you don't want to use too much of it like you would your regular salt, because as I said, you've got these big crystals of them, and if you do too much, it's like, whoa. But it's really nice to get that like kind of single salt pop. So just don't want to use too much of that. And once you've got all that in your bowl, we're gonna, oh, I forgot the garlic. And some garlic powder. Get about a tablespoon if you like, however much. Or maybe not that much, maybe about 2 teaspoons. Sorry, let's not go that much on the garlic powder. Woo! And just whisk those together till they're nice and well mixed. Then we're gonna dump our wings into our olive oil and spice mix. Grab my tongs, and you're just gonna mix it around. Get them all coated. Smells yummy already. They're not even done. And as I said, by spicing them up this way, for those who don't like honey garlic, you can just eat these wings without any seasoning, or sorry, without any sauce. Or if you want a hot sauce, you can. It'll go well with that as well. Just a really good wing. And once you've got them all well mixed, you're gonna put them into your baking dish. Let's spread them out. And then we're going to bake these for about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how big your wings are. So you want them about just cooked, or about 3/4 of the way cooked. We don't want them golden brown. They're still going to look a little raw, probably a little bleedy, but that's okay. That's what we want them, because again, we're going to do a second cook on them, so don't worry about that. We just want to get them about 3/4 of the way cooked, or just cooked. So I'm going to pop these into the oven, as I said, for about a 1/2 hour. Probably about a 1/2 hour or 40 minutes should be good. And meanwhile, I'll give a little stir up here with my honey. And then partway through, don't forget to just flip your wings around. All right, and once your wings are done, you just take them out of the oven. And we're going to take them out and put them on a plate to let them cool. And once they've cooled down, you can put them in the fridge until your honey's ready. All right, so the honey is ready. I'm going to take her out from the pot. And so I just got a measuring spoon and a small strainer, or get a larger strainer, or you can use a cheesecloth. And I'm going to pour this through. A spatula. Get out all the yummy yummies. And then you just want to make sure to strain through, get out all your honey. And then what you can also do, because this is a honey and coconut oil mixture here, is you can save this pulp and use it as an exfoliator. Yeah, so you can make an but you can make a facial exfoliator from it. It's really nice. And once that's all strained out, I'm going to get my hand blender. Actually, first I'm going to let this cool for about 20 minutes, then I'm going to get the hand blender and we're going to blend that up. So started with a 1/2 cup. I lost just a little bit, not that much. If you use a cheesecloth, you can really muscle it and probably get almost every little ounce out of it. So then I'm just going to let that cool for a bit, and then I'm going to get the hand blender and we'll mix that up, and I'll see whether or not we'll need to add the lecithin. Alright, got my blender. And I'm hoping this is going to work, because I don't have that much and my bowl is a little shallow, so I'm hoping the blender will work. So no, we are going to need to use a little bit of lecithin. The oil is not completely emulsifying with the honey here. So I'm going to add a little bit, about a quarter of a teaspoon of lecithin. As I said, I've only got a half a cup of honey here, so I don't want to use too much. A generous quarter teaspoon. Let it dribble it all on the top. Alright, so you're just going to continue to blend that until it is one uniform color and texture, and it will lighten up quite a bit. So like so. And then you just want to make sure that you don't see any oil coming to the top. If you do, go with the hand blender a little bit longer or add a little bit more lecithin and you'll be good. So now, just waiting for the chicken wings to finish cooling, and we'll get on to that second part of making these oh so yummy honey garlic chicken wings. Actually, while I'm waiting for my chicken wings to cool down, I am going to mix my honey and my garlic to give my garlic time to infuse the flavor into the honey. So I'm going to use probably about a quarter cup of my honey, because I want to save some for tea and stuff later. It looks so good. Check it out. And then you want to get about about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of finely chopped garlic, and mix that together. And again, the garlic can be to taste. If you're not a big garlic person, just use about a half a tablespoon. If you really like garlic, go for the full 2 tablespoons. And I'm just going to add in a little bit of salt. So I'm just adding in a pinch of sea salt. Salt is always good. It helps to bring out the sweetness and accent those flavors. And also bring out the nice honey flavor. Alright, so I'm just going to let that sit until my chicken wings are ready to go for their second cooking. And as an option for your honey garlic sauce, you can add in soy sauce. Some people don't like soy sauce, but I didn't add it as a meat ingredient. You can do it optional. So you just want to add about a quarter to, no more than a half a teaspoon. I'd stick it to about a quarter teaspoon and just mix that in well. And there you go, because you don't want it to be too salty or too heavy. And that's it for the soy sauce. Just going to get the chicken wings. They're nice and cool. We'll get those cooked up and add the sauce on. Alright, so you're going to get your chicken wings out of the fridge. You want to make sure that they're nice and cold. And you're going to turn your oil on. You want to heat it up to 350 degrees. And then you also want to have stand by another metal bowl or glass bowl for us to do our mixing up in. Alright, so my oil is to 350. I'm going to start frying these puppies up. So you want to fry them, probably deep fry them for about 5 minutes or so. Remember, they're mostly cooked. We just want them to be nice and golden brown. Just be careful. Alright, once your chicken wings are a nice golden brown like so, you're going to shake off the excess oil. Words are so hard today. And just dump them into your bowl here. And I'm just going to finish frying up the rest of my puppies. Hot oil is scary too. Now all my chicken wings are cooked and in the bowl. You're going to take your honey garlic sauce. Let's mix it up, make sure everything's mixed up. And we're going to drizzle that all on. Gonna look so good. And get some, oops. Oh well. Get some handy tongs. Mix that all around. Make sure they're all nicely covered. And I like doing, I know some of you are like, why are you doing two-step method? Because you can't get the crispiness that you do doing a single cook method. Doing this two-stage method, you get this really nice crispiness on your chicken wings. And so as I said, just mix those all around. Grab a plate, pour them onto your plate, and there you have it. Whoops. Get all that extra sauce. And there we have it. Honey garlic chicken wings. And yeah, I can't wait to dig into these puppies. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions at all or any comments, please don't hesitate to put them you know where. Yeah, look who's hanging around for chicken wings. Not these ones, puppy. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your support as always. Once again, Happy New Year to everybody, and thanks again for watching.